Hello, and welcome to the channel. If you're from the UK, you may have seen one particular story dominating the news in recent weeks. The news of Sarah Everard's disappearance and murder has caused shockwaves throughout the UK. Not only was this another tragic case involving the sad loss of life, but it's alleged a police officer may have been involved in her death. There also seems to be a large discussion taking place around the overall safety of women on the streets of Britain, with many seemingly jumping on this case to push specific narratives to further their agenda. As you may know from my Emily Jones video, I have no interest in discussing what politicians or activists are claiming should be done in response to this shocking case. Instead, I want to provide you with what we know so far about the events which took place, leading up to where we are now. Please bear in mind that there still isn't much information out there, and I'll be relying heavily on information released through the media. I imagine any corrections that need to be made will be done so through a follow-up video. Finally, I want to extend my deepest condolences to Sarah Everard's friends and family. I truly hope that justice will be served to the highest degree. Let's begin. Sarah Everard was reported missing by her boyfriend on the 4th of March 2021 after she failed to show up to meet him after leaving a friend's home the previous night at around 9 p.m. The last contact he had with Sarah was shortly after she left, when the pair spoke on the phone for around 14 minutes. They had arranged to meet up, but Sarah never showed. As she was on her way home, she was spotted on CCTV at around 9:15 p.m. She was caught on camera again at 9:28 p.m. after an unmarked police car captured her image on its camera. Sarah was then spotted again at 9:32 p.m. Each time she was picked up on camera, she was alone. Her friend's home was located in Clapham, South London. Sarah's home was 2.5 miles away, and it would have taken her around 50 minutes to walk home. 3 days after Sarah disappeared, police appealed to the public, where they released the CCTV footage and walked through Sarah's last known steps. The following day, on the 7th of March, police released further footage from a private doorbell camera, which showed Sarah walking along the A205 Poinders Road towards Tulse Hill, south of Brixton. Police were unclear at the time whether Sarah had actually made it home. They described Sarah on the night as wearing a green rain jacket, navy blue trousers with a white diamond pattern, and turquoise and orange trainers. She was also believed to have been wearing green earphones and a white beanie hat at the time. Scotland Yard's Specialist Crime Command Unit would lead the investigation because of, quote, the complex nature of the probe, which combines searches with house-to-house inquiries. On the 8th of March, specialist officers were drafted in from across the force, as police received over 120 calls from the general public regarding Sarah Everard's disappearance. Scotland Yard would say that they were remaining open-minded about Sarah's disappearance, and urged anyone with any footage which may help with their investigation to come forward. On the 9th of March, police would bring out sniffer dogs to search gardens in the area where they believed Sarah would have journeyed home, as well as in the nearby Oaklands estate. They would also search a pond in Clapham Common, as well as drains along the A205. Police would release further images of Sarah to the public, showing her in the coat she would have worn the night she vanished. The Met would also set up a cordon on Poinders Road at the Poinders Court complex, where forensic officers could be seen examining the area for leads. Uber would also use their smartphone software to pinpoint whether any of their drivers were in the area when Sarah vanished, in the hope of providing additional information the police could use to track Sarah. The 9th of March would also see the case take its biggest turn. At midnight, the Metropolitan Police announced they had arrested 2 individuals, a man and a woman. The arrests took place in Kent. The man was arrested in connection with Sarah's disappearance, while the woman was arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. More shockingly, police would confirm that the man arrested was a serving police officer. Assistant Commissioner Nick Fgrave would say of this that the fact the man was a serving officer was, quote, both shocking and deeply disturbing. Detective Chief Inspector Catherine Goodwin assured the public that the force was still, quote, doing everything we can to find Sarah. She also noted the overwhelming response from the public and urged people to continue coming forward with any information. The following day, on the 10th of March, Nick Efgrave confirmed that the officer at the time was not on duty at the time of Sarah's disappearance. He initially refused to provide details of the offence the officer had been arrested for, nor would he confirm if the man was known to Sarah. However, later that day, it was revealed that the man had been arrested on suspicion of kidnap. While Nick Efgrave had stated earlier that he hoped Sarah Everard was still alive, the man would additionally be arrested on suspicion of murder, as well as a separate allegation of indecent exposure. The man would be identified as 48-year-old Wayne Couzens. Wayne is a serving member of the Force's Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protection Command. He's also married, with 2 children. We know from reports that Wayne Couzens worked a 12-hour shift on the 2nd of March from 7 p.m. After finishing, he went on leave. He would contact work on the 5th of March 2021, days before he was due to return, to say that he was suffering from stress, followed by emailing his supervisor the next day to say that he no longer wanted to carry a firearm, despite being a trained firearms officer. While the police were searching his home and digging up the garden, a neighbour would tell ITV News that the family seemed normal and that there was nothing strange about them at all. As the evening arrived, Met Police Commissioner Dame Cressida Dick announced that human remains had been found during their search for Sarah. They confirmed that the remains were found in Ashford, Kent, in a woodland near the area. Police at the time were unable to identify the remains, with Cressida Dick stating it may take some considerable time before they could. She added that Miss Everard's disappearance in awful and wicked circumstances are every family's nightmare, but assured the public that the odds of women being abducted from London's streets is, quote, thankfully, incredibly rare. Wayne Couzens would continue to be questioned by police on the 11th of March, but it was revealed that on this day, he had been found collapsed and unconscious in his cell after suffering serious head wounds. However, after being treated for his injuries, he would be released back to the station where he was being held. Sarah's family would pay tribute to her, calling her a shining example to us all. They would also appeal to the public for any information that could help solve this crime. Meanwhile, an independent probe would be launched to investigate whether the Met Police responded appropriately to the earlier reports of indecent exposure. Tragically, on the 12th of March, police would confirm that the remains found were indeed Sarah's, after she was identified using dental records. The Met also revealed that Wayne was accused of exposing himself on 2 occasions at a South London McDonald's just 3 days before Sarah's disappearance. However, as the allegations were subject to an independent Office for Police Conduct investigation, they refrained from commenting further while this investigation was carried out. The woman who was arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender would be released on bail until mid-April. Meanwhile, Wayne Couzens would again be treated for a fresh head injury, sustained while in police custody. Like last time, after he was treated, he was returned to police custody. On Saturday the 13th of March, Wayne Couzens appeared in court for the first time at Westminster Magistrates Court, where he was charged of the kidnap and murder of Sarah Everard. It's learned that Sarah was discovered in a large bag, similar to those used by builders to transport heavy loads. Police have yet to find Sarah's phone, but on the 15th of March, they found a piece of gold jewellery on top of a car park ticket machine in Sandwich, Kent. It's not known at this time whether this belonged to Sarah. On the 16th of March 2021, Wayne Couzens appeared at the Old Bailey via video link from Belmarsh Prison in South London. Sporting a head wound on his forehead, he spoke only to confirm his name and date of birth. Judge Mark Lucraft, QC, set a provisional Old Bailey trial for the 25th of October, with a plea hearing on the 9th of July. On the 18th of March 2021, an inquest was opened into the death of Sarah Everard. The inquest was opened and later adjourned, pending the outcome of criminal proceedings. A post-mortem was also held prior to the inquest. However, this was unable to determine the cause of Sarah's death. A second post-mortem was arranged on the 17th of March 2021, but as of yet, no details have emerged. It goes without saying that this case has shocked the entire country, as well as sparked a nationwide debate over the safety of women in Britain's streets. As I said at the beginning of this video, I won't be diving into the discussions taking place at a political level, as I just want to focus on the facts of the case. But if you do want to find out more about the discussions taking place, I've left a link in the description to 2 videos which you may find informative. While Wayne Couzens currently hasn't been convicted of the charges brought against him, police appear to be very confident they have the right man, and I hope that this is resolved swiftly for the sake of Sarah's family and friends. Until next time, take care, and goodbye. For now.